Well, let's take a look at this now. Gauteng metros are facing a resurgence of land invasions and social scammers who sell government flats and RTP homes for as little as 15,000 rand. In the West Rand, some pay 2,500 rand to jump the long housing list, only for people to disappear with their money. We're joined by the Joburg Human Settlements MMC, Mlungisi Mabaso. Mr. Mabaso, good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Of course, what we've seen some of these scamsters do is that they claim to be either you or coming from your office when they go around fraudulently selling land that they don't even own.
Thank you very much, Katie. Greetings to you and greetings to the viewers at home. Yes, of course, that's how they operate, Katie, to look legitimate. They've used my face, they've opened social media accounts on my name and also using my face. They've opened social media accounts using the department's name. They are also circulating messages on WhatsApp on the pretense that they are working for the city, they are working for my office, and they are assisting us, to reach out to the beneficiaries for them to be allocated to houses.
Of course, the consequences of this have been dire. Just in the last couple of months, we've seen hundreds of families being relocated because they bought houses under false claims.
Well, that's reality, Katie, and it's even better, especially to those that gets to be given, those stand houses stands, in a form of invasions. Others, when they try to contact these people on the day of the alleged allocation, they don't get hold of them, and they tend to be blocked, or others have been referred to our offices. When the day of the allocation arrives and they are not on site, then they tell them to go to 222, and when they get to our offices, they will find that we are not even aware that there had been an alleged planned allocation by this syndicate. So it's a very, frustrating situation, which requires us, in a way, to be proactive in our responses. Hence, today, we had a meeting with senior officials from South African Police Service, to try and find a lasting solution and arrest this situation once and for all.
You've received a number of tip-offs about who some of these individuals are or even where they're operating from. What have you done about it?
Well, we have taken the matters to South African Police Service. Heathrow Police Station is the one that is investigating these cases. We have referred some of the cases to Group Forensic Investigation Unit. But today, General Spear, who's the head of organized crime in the national, has, organized a session with all the detectives that are working on these cases, and he is going to centralize the investigation, and we are quite happy with the interventions that he has made in his new role as the head of organized crime in national. So we have reported these cases. We have issued out media statement to advise people against these cases, these syndicates. Even in our public, platforms, we talk about this, syndicate and warn residents against these people, and we hope and believe that our police will be able to arrest these perpetrators, and they will put these cases to rest. But of course, Katie, the most frustrating part that is happening is that these are residents who are vulnerable, who are in dire need of houses, and these people have decided to take advantage of that. And we suspect, because these criminals seems to understand the system, and we suspect that there is, someone from the department that knows what is happening, and there is someone that they are working very close with, and we hope and believe that the police will be able to get to the bottom of this, so that those that are involved in this syndicate are arrested.
Of course, it's easy to describe some of the residents who fall prey to these scams as people who are desperate and vulnerable. But if we interrogate why they are that way in the first place, case, it's a finger pointing back at a failure by the government to be able to respond to the issue of housing adequately. And that's something that you're responsible for.
Well, I agree that people have waited for too long, people are frustrated, but that does not mean that they should engage themselves in these illegal activities. I mean, the RDP houses are meant for people who cannot afford to either buy houses for themselves or to build houses for themselves. So the expectation from us is that it's people who are seriously in need of houses and who cannot afford for themselves.
But Mr. Mabaso, if we're being honest here, the reason why people fall prey to these scams is because corruption has been so embedded in the allocation of housing that many people see it as the only way of securing a house for themselves, because they wait in the housing line patiently only to see others who came after them receive houses that were meant for them, and they're told the reason you're not getting a house is because you're not willing to pay the bribe. Ours, Katie, together with the residents, is to fight crime and corruption, not to escalate it. So if there are any cases, of corruption, that must be reported for investigation to law enforcement agents, and that's what we always encourage. So we don't encourage people to escalate, corruption and crime, and hence, we came out clear that we even suspect that some of the officials in the department, are aware of what is happening, and some of them are involved, because we want to eradicate, these elements of corruption even in the allocation processes. And not so long ago, I've written to Group Forensic Investigation requesting them to investigate the allocations that happened at Flehof behind our backs, myself and the Executive Director of the department. So we are fighting very hard to arrest, any, alleged, corrupt activities that are happening in the department. And we expect our residents to assist us to fight crime, not to escalate it to a level where it will be beyond control. But you accept then that the fact that part of the reason why we're even in this situation is as a result of the failure by the department? Well, I will say we are dealing with a backlog, that dates back to 1996, and the government has not been able to address the housing backlog, which is frustrating in the part of the residents who have been patiently waiting. But I can tell you, Kate, that people who have been paying, to these scammers, some of them are not even on the housing waiting list. They have not even made application. And one will ask the question why they are even paying to be allocated into RDP houses if they have not made those applications to government for them to get houses from government. So this is a serious crime, and this is a serious syndicate that needs to be arrested. And we are, pushing law enforcement agencies, to catch these criminals so that we are able to arrest this situation once and for all. But we really plead with our residents, to work with us, to assist us to catch these criminals. And we urge them not to escalate these, corrupt activities even further, by entertaining these people, by paying the money that they request, because we are not going to reimburse, those that have been victims of this scam. Ours is to open the cases and these people, to see these people, being prosecuted. But we do not have money, to reimburse all these people that have been scammed. So they really need to assist us, to be quite honest, to fight this crime, to report this crime as and when they happen, so that we are able to take that evidence and information to our law enforcement agencies, because they are working very hard to crack this case, and they also rely on us to provide them with the information so that they are able to bring these perpetrators to book. Joburg Human Settlements MMC Mlungisi Mabaso will leave it there for tonight.